Pastor Sean Johnson with Many Waters Church. This is going to be a fun broadcast. Definitely a little bit different than what we've been used to. Because we're called This Is Life. I don't. It doesn't have to be always real serious. It doesn't have to always be about gripping or controversial topics or just things that are even always inspirational. Sometimes it's just okay to have a good time and just to talk about life in general. And so my family, we actually just recently got back from a trip to Canada. We every year we'd like to go to a different place, take our camper across the nation, or in this case, international, and just experience life, experience what other locations have to offer. Some people choose to spend their money on large TVs or fancy cars or whatever. We choose to save up all year and then go someplace with our camper and just share new experiences and travels with my family, my wife, my daughter, and myself. Well, anyway, so I had my friend in Matt this weekend, and we thought it'd be really, really fun for us just to talk about my trip to Canada. So he asked me some questions, and he just kind of went back and forth with me. And so I hope you enjoy. We actually went a lot longer than I anticipated. So anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. This is if you were in the room with Matt and I, this is what a conversation would probably sound like. Our wives will probably not hear this broadcast because they hear things like this all the time and just roll their eyeballs. But hopefully you'll find it entertaining. So this is part one of what we like to call Canada and vinyl tiles. Have a good day. God bless you guys. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Is Life. This is your host, Sean Johnson, pastor of Many Waters Church. I have Matt Quick in here again with me. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man.
Well, we just got back from a Canadian trip.
You just got back from. I did not go on this trip.
No, Matt, that's true. Yeah, Matt did
not you, not you and me. You,
wife,
your family.
Right, my wife, my daughter, myself. We went to Canada. I found out they don't like it when you say Canada because it's not Canada.
But they're so nice.
They are very, very well, except unless you're a border agent. But we will get to that. No, I obviously I made it back. So
your downloads in Canada are just dropping off the table.
Yeah, all of you in Canada, I know you're listening because I got millions of subscribers in Canada. Not really, but
the millions and millions,
right,
of moose in Canada listening to the show.
That's the one thing I would tell you.
Did you see a moose when you went to Canada?
Actually, we saw the amount of wildlife we saw was almost non-existent, which was very bizarre. I'm not even talking. There was hardly any bugs. I was expecting one of the greatest things about we went to Niagara Falls, right? This is the third time in the last 17 years my wife and I have been married that we went to Niagara Falls. We actually went when we were dating way back in 2001 of October.
I was 10 years old in 2001, for some context.
Thanks for that map. And then we went the same year my daughter was born. Her and I just kind of a last hurrah before we jump into parenthood. We went for her birthday, and it was in the middle of March, which around here in Kansas, it's cold, but it's not like ridiculous cold. However, March in Niagara Falls, Canada, and this is right after they had a big lake effect, like snow. And for those who don't know what lake effect snow is, basically imagine like snow higher than vehicles. I mean,
it's like a nor'easter.
Yeah, it was. I've never seen anything like it. And I've never experienced cold like that, especially right by Niagara Falls, this giant body of water pouring into this, to the river, and it's like, oh my gosh, like you literally walk outside and you feel like you are going to just freeze into ice and bust into a million pieces. It was really, really, really cold. But it was beautiful. I mean, I think only like a handful of times in the last 30 years has the falls frozen over, at least the American side. The Canadian side, I don't think it's ever frozen over, but the American side did, and it was pretty awesome, especially when they shine the lights on at night, that kind of deal. But no, freezing. So if you're going to go to Niagara Falls, we go in the summertime, which is what we did. But going back to the question about wildlife, I was hoping to see squirrels, because I saw black squirrels there, which was awesome. We don't have a lot I've only seen one black squirrel here in Topeka, and he happens to live over by the mall. And he's kind of notorious. Have you ever seen the black squirrel over by the mall?
No. I've heard of the black squirrel.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
He's like a Topeka legend.
Yes, exactly.
By the mall.
But the other place I've seen him was in Niagara Falls, but I didn't even see squirrels. Definitely no moose. I mean, unless you count the photo op mooses on the tourist streets. So that was kind of disappointing. But that notwithstanding, I saw a lot of beautiful nature. If you ever got a chance to go to Niagara Falls, you got to. It's really, really fun. What was really cool is my family we're big superhero fans, right? So what we did was at night, after the first day, we went and saw the falls, and I got to show my daughter Iceland, Niagara Falls, and Majesty, and all that. It wasn't as big a deal to a 5-year-old as I was hoping it would be. It's like, all right, that's cool. It's a big waterfall. So I'm hoping maybe later on in life she'll get a little bit more impressed by.
Did you do the what's the mist lady? What's it called?
The maid of the mist.
Maid of the that's way cooler than mist lady.
Mist lady.
The mist lady.
The mist lady. No.
Did you do the maid of the mist?
We did not do the maid of the mist. The maid of the mist is on. Okay, there's 2 boats that apparently go into the mist. Okay, there's on the American side is the maid of the mist, and there's been I think they're on maid of the mist 4 or 5 now. No, maybe it was 7. I think it was 7. Yeah, maid of the mist, Roman numeral 7. If you are on the Canadian side, that boat is called the Horn Blower. I'm pretty sure the Horn Blower, Horn Blower. And so but they basically do the same thing.
Why don't they have the Gentleman of the Mist?
Yeah, that would be really.
And then you could have both, and
have a Maid of the Mist and a Gentleman.
You have
of the
a
Mist.
Maid of the Mist and a Gentleman of the Mist.
Here's the thing. So when you go to Canada and you go to Niagara Falls, it's a big touristy area, and of course, the last time we went, there was hardly anybody there because it was the middle of winter and only you're crazy.
Because people are smart and don't go.
Right. However, I will tell you, we got a really bomb room at the Embassy Suites there, and you could actually
because there's nobody there. You got a great room because nobody's around.
Precisely. That same room costs 4 times as much in the summertime. But anyway. Summertime's pretty crazy. But you get to do a lot more stuff in the summertime. And you can get this pass, this little fun pass, right? That lets you do some of the touristy things around there. Gets you access to go on the bus routes up and down the street, which is very helpful. It's, especially when you have a kid. You don't have to lug the child back and forth and little legs get tired and all that kind of stuff. And who we kidding? I don't want to get tired doing it. Anyway, so you also get to do some of the fun touristy things, which includes, in our case, on the Canadian side, the Hornblower cruise, and there's also this thing called Journey Behind the Falls, which is what we did, which is pretty awesome. You wait in this really long line. It was kind of funny because we're standing in line, and then you go to another room, you stand in line, you go to another room, you stand in line, and then all of a sudden you can see through a doorway people in the same line as you who are up ahead, but they're in yellow ponchos. And so Rachel my wife just made it really quick, really funny. It's well, I guess the next room we just go through some machine that throws ponchos on.
You go to a poncho machine and you pop out the other side.
Pop out the other side.
You get your poncho on.
Because that's literally what it looked like. It looked like we're about to go into a room and then they pop out.
What's the benefit of taking you from room to room?
I don't know. I guess that's just the way the
aside from just
set up.
Queuing the line?
Yeah, just queuing the line.
Until you get to the ponchonator.
So you go to the ponchonator.
The ponchonator.
Right.
The ponchoinator. What is it?
I like the ponchonator.
The ponchonator.
So but there's this little desk with this teenager frantically throwing out ponchos to people. It's pretty funny.
Do you get to keep the poncho?
You can, but they encourage you to recycle. Canada's very big, which is good.
You could have said Canadians.
I know, Canadians.
That's you're not going to make anybody mad by saying Canadians.
Canada is very, very good at environmental awareness. For example, you can't get milk in jugs. They come in cardboard, cartons only, right? Or you have to pay 5 cents, a bag if you want a bag at the grocery store.
Do you see a lot of reusable bags?
Absolutely, reusable bags. I hardly saw, surprisingly, any kind of bottled water. They really encourage, I really appreciated that. It was very environmentally friendly. In fact, as an American, kind of made me feel really wasteful, especially in the middle of the country. Man, I'll tell you, I've often thought that'd be really, really great. If the grocery stores around here would charge people for bags, but man, people in Kansas would lose their mind if you took away their plastic bags.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because I love that. I never could forget the first time I went to. I've ever seen that happen. We were vacationing in California. In Los Angeles.
Malibu was banned bags, and Hollywood was banned plastic bags.
I was for some reason, every single time I go on vacation, the first night I'm always at the grocery store every single time, and there's the same thing. Well, California, first night there, maybe it's to get groceries or whatever things we forgot, and I remember going and walking in and being like, "Where are all the bags?" This is before I even knew that the bags were forbidden or that you couldn't get them readily. You had to ask for them. And well, eventually when I got there, they said, yeah, they're 5 cents a piece. And I was like, that kind of makes sense, especially when you're by the ocean. But in Canada, that'd be crazy. All right, so go back to Canada. So anyway, yeah, you can keep the ponchos, but they encourage you to put them in the recycle bin afterwards. And there's really no need to keep it.
Because they're just the little thin plastic.
Right, they're
like
biodegradable.
The ones you buy at the store for a baseball game or whatever.
They're bright yellow, biodegradable plastic ponchos.
Okay.
And they have kid size and adult size, and that's it. So anyway, so you go to the ponchonator, right? And then you go into an elevator that drops you probably about 12 stories down. Basically, you're at the base of Niagara Falls, and you get to go into an observatory area at the base of the falls to the left, right to the left of the horseshoe, and you can basically literally look up and see the falls pouring right next to you, which is pretty cool. You do get wet. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty awesome. You see the waterfall. You get to see a good view of the Maid of the Mist or the home blower if they're going into the mist area. And that was pretty fun. Also, you get to go down a tunnel, and they have 2 tunnels. Well, you go. Let's see if I can explain this. You got down this long hallway that goes behind the falls, about 30 feet into the mountain, into the cliff. And then they have tunnels going the opposite way where you can go and basically walk toward the falls and stand about 8 feet from the falls flowing over.
So you'd be underneath.
You'd be basically you'd be right behind the waterfall.
You'd be behind the waterfall.
Right, and it's about it's probably about 6 feet wide by about 30 feet long. So you go down this hallway basically and can stand about 8 to 10 feet away from the falls and hear the crashing and the roaring of the waves and that kind of stuff. And that was pretty awesome. And okay, so we did that. And then we thought about doing the Hornblower, the Maid of the Mist boat thing, but literally they pack you on there like more than sardines. Like you imagine this boat that's just jam packed with people in ponchos, and you're going out to one of the 7 greatest natural wonders of the world. But if something goes wrong, you're gone. And I just was thinking, not
only is it a waterfall,
right?
So the water's maybe pouring down,
right?
It's not like you fall in a lake.
No, the
water's pretty mellow.
No. It's roaring waves and crashing and that kind of stuff. And I will probably do that. I paid for this pass and we utilized it in other ways and activities and used it for coupons, this kind of deal. We could have done it, but I have a 5-year-old. I was like, man, what if we get stuck out of there? What if she has to go to the bathroom? I just had all these visions of things, and we'll just wait till another time. And it didn't hurt us neither. I was like, yeah, we'll do it. It was really, really cool though. So if you ever do want to go to Niagara Falls, definitely check it out. I would also go to the American side. I've been on the American side and the Canadian side. Next time I go, I think I'll probably stay on the American side and just visit on the Canadian side. There's probably more to do on the Canadian side, but I'm just more familiar, obviously, because I'm an American with America. And Canada is interesting. It's like this, and I'm sure they say this in anybody in the United States, but basically it's like America in an alternate universe.
It's like Diet America.
Yeah, Diet America, right.
It's like it's America, but with a Splenda taste. Yeah, it's like America with Splenda.
Right, and the things that are different are things you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like, for example, if you're going out to eat at dinner, let's say you go out to eat at a restaurant or something like that.
Oh, you told me this.
Right.
You go to pay.
You go to pay. They bring here in America, they bring you the ticket. You hand them your credit card. They take the ticket book to the machine, swipe it, bring you back the receipt. You sign it, fill out the tip and the amount and all the stuff, and you go on your way. Well, in Canada, it's really big to them to not touch your card. So what they do is they bring the credit card machine to your table, and you see the amount. You put your card in to the machine. You push your buttons or push credit or whatever, and you sign it. You put the tip there right in front of the person. And so, I mean, literally everything happens right in front of you. And that kind of, at first, that kind of messed me up. I was like, but it happens everywhere. Literally every transaction with the card.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more personal.
It is. I think it's more personal. Plus, you
probably get a better tip if you're the
probably
because people are looking right
staring at you,
staring at you.
Like, I see what you did there. So 25% or 20%.
But it's not. I'm thinking of the little kiosk that you have at like Applebee's. They got the little thing now, and you swipe the card, and it kicks out the receipt, and you're gonna need wait staff for that.
I didn't see those.
Are they like? It's not like that. It's like they bring over a machine.
Yeah, bring a little like handheld credit card machine, and you just slide your card into it. You push a button, and then it gives you instructions right there. Don't remove your card. Hand machine back to server. that kind of deal. And I guess tipping is also a really big thing. Like in America, it's expected, but like in Canada, I guess tipping is it's a bigger thing than it is here in America. Like if you don't tip, like that's really, especially if you don't tip even well, that's really looked down upon. And so I would still, I don't mind tipping. I've never been in service, but my wife was a waitress at one time, and I've heard a lot of stories, and I have no problem giving people service because and giving people good, tips for service. Like to me, my tip starts at 15-20%,
right?
Regardless of how good or bad the service is.
What is the minimum wage for a server in Canada?
I don't know.
Well, I know here in the States it's something ridiculously low.
It's
like
probably
$2-3 an hour because you make
I
all the money in the tips and not on the salary.
I don't imagine that that's probably much different, just because they put so much emphasis on the tip.
Right.
One of the things that was interesting
when you run your card, since you're an American, did it go in American dollars or Canadian dollars?
It would always be Canadian. I mean, I think there was one time it would tell me what it would be either way, but that's what's really interesting. Kind of cool point about that was like, how like when you use your credit or debit card, there's like a 3-day delay between authorization and capture. So like when you use your debit card, it's pending.
It's pending for 2 days or whatever, and you see it pending in your account,
and then it posts to your account.
Right.
So what's interesting about that is like, let's say it's $25 Canadian. That's roughly $17, $18 American. And when it captures it, it's for a certain amount. So let's just say, for example, $25 is $17 in American. By the time those 3 days go by, it's going to exchange the money with however the rate is that day. Because remember, currency is always exchanging, right?
So it's not the rate at the time of the transaction; it's the rate at the time of posting.
So I had an authorization, and then 3 days later I had an adjustment.
How's that fair? You bought the service,
right?
You bought the service,
but we're not talking lots a lot. And we're talking like 15, 20, 26 cents, that kind of deal.
Did it work in your favor?
No, it was always more. Yeah, but at the same time, it's not that big deal because you think you're getting, like, for example, like for right now, like when we were up there, the American dollar is about 70% to what to what the Canadian dollar is. So if you go to the dollar store, you're actually getting a good deal. You're getting everything for 75 cents instead of $1.
Right.
However, things are much more expensive there. Like gas, don't even get me started. That messed me all up.
Isn't gas by the liter?
Gas by the liter.
So that's not a gallon. So those
no,
are comparable.
So how many?
Don't freak
liters?
out. Don't freak out.
how many liters are in a gallon?
Oh, geez, 2.5.
That's something about 2.5, right? It was dollar. It was dollar. It was $1.90.
Hold on, I got the internet right here. Hold on, hang on.
So yeah, so $1.90 per liter. So you could decide
how many liters are in 1 gallon.
We're asking our phones.
3.79 liters.
So it's 3.
Thank you, Siri. Goodness gracious. Okay.
So it's 3. It's 3.7. So
okay. So let's
about
do this.
4. So if you were to go 4, 3 3/4.
So we're talking about $1.90 times what?
3.39.
It was $6.44 a gallon, Canadian, which averages around
Canadian dollars, though.
Right. That's so averages around.
But take that times. Well, no, I guess it would be 70.
Right. I would say it's probably about $5 a gallon.
That's not horrible.
It was for me, my big old truck. It cost me 90. Here, I got my phone here. I know we're using our phones here. I took a picture because I was shocked. Let me look here. I think it was like, let's see here. It was so much money. I couldn't believe how much I was spending on gas. I only did it once. The other thing about it is like I used my card, and I guess maybe it's because I have a business card. I don't know, but like. And here in the United States, it charges me $1, authorizes the card, and then 3 days later, it's whatever.
Right, it's the dollar placeholder, and then they dump the real. They do a little switcheroo, put the real amount in there.
This time, it was $150. No, it was $200 Canadian, like 150 something hold on my debit card.
Oh, so instead of holding the dollar, they hold the whole thing.
It was really annoying.
Well, maybe they didn't know if you were going to skip the country.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we're going to just skip town.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was very, very frustrating because I'm like, great, and I'm gonna have like no money for.
So wait, can I ask how much gas did you buy in this transaction?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out here. I'm trying to find my phone and everything else.
So put $150 hold on your account, American.
Well, that was the first time I did it because I didn't even fill it up because he wouldn't stop. That's the other thing.
Well, just freestyle a guess. Did you buy $70 worth of gas and it held $150?
Around $90 a gas.
But it held $150 originally, and then it went back down.
I didn't even look the second time because I put gas in twice, right? The first time I put a hold of like $200. I would push the little lever, but it kept on you put your gas thing and it stops whenever it feels.
Yeah, you do that move where you squeeze it and then you flick your pinky and it puts that little deal
thing.
down.
The thing does not exist in Canada.
What?
True story.
I can't ever go there.
You have to sit there and hold your pump the whole time. Again, it's one of those efficiency things. It's one of those environmental things.
How's the little metal flicky thing
I guess
affecting environmental stuff?
It avoids somebody leaving their pump and having a spill.
Okay.
Because you literally have to sit there and hold.
But when the air hits the nozzle, pink, it pops up. And then
theoretically,
you're done.
But there have been times where that's failed.
All right.
But yeah, the bottom line is
can we get Justin Trudeau on the show so I can ask him these questions?
Right.
Did you?
It was like I said. It was about.
Did you get his number when you were up there?
No, sure.
I have a couple
That was
questions.
the other thing. You didn't see. I mean, you didn't. I didn't see a lot of like Canadian flags, but I saw a lot of red. They love the color red.
Well, their flag has two colors.
Well, I get
it's
that.
red and white. That's all it is.
Like when we went to a grocery store. Can we? I guess it's my show. Can I say actual businesses? Is that?
It's your show.
I guess I don't really care because no one's really. I mean,
it's
I went to the Walmarts.
It's your show. I guess
Walmart. I expect a check now that I've given you promotion on my.
There you go.
On my multi
to the millions
of
Canadian followers that have already left.
Anyway, we went to.
Did it say like Walmart Canada or like Walmart.ca on the logo, or was it just Walmart?
It said Walmart, right?
Okay.
But as soon as I walked in, I'm like, something is different. It wasn't just the croissants that were in the front.
Right.
It wasn't just, there's a lot of weird pastry type of things, but it was just something different. Then all of a sudden I realized it was all the red. When you walk into our Walmarts, the primary color is like a navy blue.
Yeah, Walmart's logo, Walmart's color here is kind of
Picture
a kind
all
of deep blue.
Anything navy deep blue, bright fire engine red.
It's a bit freaky.
It was
the logo on the outside?
It was
like
blue.
Our store here, the Walmarts are kind of a neutral tone as far as the outside of the building color, and then there's usually blue, and then there's the Walmart logo, but it's the same on the outside. But then you walked in, and it was super red.
Right. I mean, there were definitely things that were different. Like we went to McDonald's. I went to McDonald's once.
Did you get a McRib?
I did have McRibs.
I was told the McRib was year round in Canada.
I didn't know. I know the menu looked different. They had poutine fries. Do you know what poutine fries are?
I've heard of poutine. I've never had.
I'm probably not saying it right. My wife is of French descent, so she probably is like, it's poutine or however you say it, but I can't say it right. I just say Putin. All right,
it's Putin.
It's Putin. It's basically for those who don't know,
like the Russian president.
It's French
Putin?
fries with brown gravy and melted mozzarella cheese. Right. It's pretty darn good.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah,
it's really really good.
So wait, was it McPoutine? Is that a McPutin? What is
fries.
it?
I got it with my a double cheeseburger. I got poutine.
So you got a double cheeseburger and a McPutin.
McPutin. Can I get? Well, the thing is, she corrected me. The lady was like,
"No, she didn't. She corrected you."
I said, "I'd like a double cheeseburger and a poutine fries." And she goes. And the lady's like, you mean poutine or however she said it? And I'm like, yeah, those. That's what I want.
How do you say poutine fries?
Sure. Translate into which language?
Oh, I don't want to translate. I don't want to translate. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to translate. Hold on.
I can't translate into. I don't want to triple it yet.
What? I didn't say anything about Tripoli. What are you talking about?
Don't triple it.
What are you talking about?
Poutine.
How do you make poutine fries?
Here's what I found.
I'm not going to tell you.
She's not going to tell you.
She's going to tell you. Just give you fresh recipes.
What are French fries covered in brown gravy and mozzarella called in Canada?
Here's what I found.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
She brings up the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
But doesn't tell me how to
anyway,
say it.
I know it's poutine.
Oh, wait. No, I can listen on Wikipedia. Hold on.
I know this is riveting.
This is riveting. I got to know how this is pronounced. This is not working.
All right, we passed it.
Can you put it at the end of the show?
There you go. I'll do that.
After the music, so aloha and mahalo, all the music, and then just how you pronounce poutine.
Yes, that works.
Right at the end of the episode.
So anyway, yeah, they did really good. Rachel and I both liked having them when we were out there. And, you can make them here at home. They're not that hard, but it's just.
How come I can't get those here? We have cheese, we have fries, we have gravy.
Well, I'm sure there's American things here. Like you're not gonna find biscuits and gravy in Canada, and that's pretty much an American thing.
I've got to pay more for gas, and I can't have biscuits and gravy. Why haven't we declared war on this country and invaded these people? and taught them our ways.
I gotcha. So what
New
else?
podcast declares war on Canada.
Yeah, I had to look at all. I had to look at the little numbers of my speedometer because everything was in kilometers.
Yeah.
So that was definitely getting used to. Like I would always be kind of freaking out, make sure I was going the proper speed.
Well, kilometers are smaller too, right?
Right.
It's 2.2 kilometers to a mile. Or something like that.
I would see a sign that would say 100 kilometers per hour. That's really 60 miles.
It's like 60 miles an hour. Yeah.
So
did you feel like you were some sort of hot rod? I'm going 105.
I
this
didn't.
Is awesome.
I felt like I was dragging my feet because I was the only one going the kilometer speed limit.
Oh.
Like everyone else is like, my wife's like, you're gonna get in trouble because we're not going the traffic. I'm like, I'm not getting pulled over in Canada.
Canada.
I'm not gonna pull over in Canada.
Anybody who cared about Canada has already long.
The
since
reason
left
why
the
I'm not getting pulled over in Canada is because I had such a hard time at the border. So that's a good segue into that. So we get to.
You camped in. You brought the camper.
We brought a camper
in Canada.
Yes, we did.
Which I told you was a dumb idea.
Well, I mean, we knew we'd get.
Was it a dumb idea?
No, it was a good time.
Okay.
It just took us a little bit harder to get in because of that. But here's what happened. So we go into the RV only line. You sit in your wait. I don't care what time of day you go. In the middle of the night. Anytime you're at a border crossing, it's going to take you forever to get.
Just to be clear, you did the one border crossing I've always wanted to do my whole life.
No, actually, we didn't end up doing that one.
No,
because we went from Buffalo into Ontario.
And then so you crossed up there.
Right, and then on the way back, we went from, it was about 50 miles north of Detroit in a town called Sarnia, Canada, crossed over Lake Huron Bay, and then into...
Just for anybody listening, I've always wanted to go... Detroit is the only city on Earth where you can go south and end up in Canada, which sounds really weird because America is south of Canada, but because of the way Michigan works, and I'm holding my hand up for you Michiganers that can't see me. You go south of Detroit, and there's a little like nub of Canada that sticks out down there, right? And so you can actually go from Detroit and go south and actually end up in Canada. That's what I thought you were doing.
Right.
So you were in Buffalo. Go on.
Yeah, we were in Buffalo. So Buffalo, you get to the border, you got to wait. It takes about an extra hour out of your time, and that's just average. That's not even if you get pulled over to secondary like I did. So here's what happened. I wait our turn. I get up there. And, the greatest thing about it, I had a 5-year-old who's stinking cute, right? So I had all the windows down.
You were texting me while this was happening, too.
Well,
partly.
Yeah, I was saying.
You were in line and you were texting me things like, do I dare get Iceland's passport book stamped?
Right,
and these things. Because at the border, they just look at it and they go, all right, and they jump through. They don't get the cool stamp.
So but I wanted them to know that I had 3 passports. I wanted them to easily see Iceland. My back windows are kind of tinted. So I had the Iceland's window down. It was a nice evening. And so we pull up, and Iceland's back there drawing or coloring on one of her pictures. Before I could even say hello to the border agent, Iceland goes, "You want to see my drawing?" Like as soon as we pulled up. So that kind of, praise God, that kind of like,
killed any sort of weird,
any sort of tension, any sort of
terroristic tension,
right? Which obviously, we've been traveling all day, and I got a 5-year-old in the back and carrying a camper. I'm sure I didn't look like much of a threat.
Well, I got to know the answer. Did you want to see the picture? Or was it a male border agent?
It was a male agent.
Did he want to see?
And
the picture?
He did see the picture, and it's usually nice to her. And we handed him the passports, and he's like, "Do you guys have any weapons in the vehicle?" And we're like, "No." So, however, my wife, she has one of those little tasers. She got us, one of those parties, like women have these like parties, like self-defense parties, and she got like this little taser that fits.
Yeah, women carry mace or they carry
just self-defense type things, right?
Brass knucks, right? Brass knucks still.
Yeah. So, anyway,
whatever. So she has a little mini taser,
but we didn't think nothing of it. She has it everywhere we go, and it's not ever a big deal. Even when we go on flights, we do make sure and put it.
I've been your friend for 20 years. I didn't even know she carried it.
Yeah, that's probably you'd watch out. It's really fun, like seeing her face.
I'm gonna be super nice from now on.
Right. We don't have it anymore. That's the whole point.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm clear to mess with her then.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. Because I go out to buy a new one. Here's what happened. So you
tell the guy he has a taser.
I told him he has a taser, and he goes, "Well, did you know that tasers are illegal in the country of Canada?" We're like, "No." And he goes, "Well, because you declared it, that means you're going to avoid any kind of penalty," which I found out later is up to $1,500 plus possible jail time if I would have not declared it.
So if you're at McDonald's getting your double cheese and your McPutin fries,
right.
And she pulls out her wallet and goes, "Oh shoot," and sets it on the counter to get something out of her wallet.
Well, I don't know.
See the taser, they call the cops.
Well, yeah, well that, or if
You're-
I get
you're
searched
busted.
at the border and I didn't tell them.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he's saying. It was like because if they were going to test,
So you declared it. You said, "Hey, I've got it," and then
right?
they said,
but
"Well,
but he was
but you
like,
can't have
well,
that."
you can't take it to the country. We're going to have to confiscate it and destroy it. And I mean, it's a bummer, but at the same time, it's better than jail or getting fined.
So do you look over at Rachel and go, "Hey, I'm gonna need the taser out of your purse"? Like,
She knew.
What's
I mean,
happening
we both at this point were like, well, okay, we didn't know that. That's when we try to be. I believe you should be cooperative to any kind of law enforcement whatsoever.
Well, yeah, you didn't like turn the taser on him.
No, like you're not taking us.
You never give me alive, coppers. None of that. So do they make a big deal about coming to get it?
No, well, what we had
We're
to
gonna
do,
open your side door. Tell me it's in your purse. I'm gonna reach in and grab it, or is this like cool? Hand it here.
He went through our passports and asked us. He asked me about cannabis like 5 different times, which is interesting because I thought last I knew cannabis was legal recreationally in Canada.
It is, but it's not legal in the United States.
Right, so you can't take it in.
So I think, and maybe this is true, the border checkpoint for Canada is in Canada, right? You've already crossed.
Crossed
the bridge,
right.
So you're in Canada,
right?
So yeah, theoretically, if you had it, then you would have been violating American law,
right? But what's interesting about that?
But they might have a rule on bringing it in.
Well, probably because they can't regulate it. That you didn't get it from them,
right? You can buy it while you're here, but you can't bring your own with you.
On that note, side note,
I don't know.
If you've ever been to Colorado or any of the states where they've made, or California where they've made cannabis legal.
I'm going to Illinois at the end of the month.
Okay,
so
there are dispensaries literally on every corner.
Sure.
Like it's like everywhere. I did not. I think I don't even know for sure. I think I saw one in Canada the whole time I was there. It was crazy. Even though it's legal, they're not like it's literally like we commercialize the heck out of it here in America, but there it's just not a big deal. So anyway, we finally get through all the questioning. Show him my passport. He proves us. He goes, but I need you to go over to see that this over here. I need you to go up ahead. I need you to pull in number 5, the stall number 5. We're going to search your vehicle. Search the camper in the truck. Okay, fine.
Is this because you had a taser or because
I think
you
they
have
were
a
going
camper?
to search us anyway because there was another camper.
Well, you have a camper,
right.
so they can't just quickly walk around.
Well, they also asked us if we had any fruits or vegetables, or what we had. I said all we had was just our groceries. So I mean, no big deal. He also asked me if I had any weapons at home, and I mean, my first business was like none of your business. But
remember, you have no rights at border crossing. Just so we're clear.
Right, I just told him no, regardless if I do or not. I mean, what's it to this guy? So I just told him no.
He's listening to the show. That jerk.
Hey. So,
I remember that little girl. I told her her picture was great. I lied.
Why would they ask me? The only reason I can think that they would ask me is if they, maybe I left in the camper in an accident or something. Anyway, so we go. And
what's that to him? You live in Kansas. Your passport says
it's literally 1,000 miles away.
Your passport says as much. It's like, oh yeah, I've got a little pistol that I keep at home. Okay, well we're going to confiscate that too. It's 8 hours away.
Right.
What am I supposed? What am I supposed to do? I'll go back home and get it.
Right. I didn't understand the purpose of asking.
I wonder if it's something to profile you. From the standpoint of if you're a violent person or maybe you're a higher risk if you have, I don't know.
Rachel thought maybe just they thought we were asking a bunch of questions to see if my answers.
Maybe they're just testing your story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just honestly.
So anyway, we pulled up. He was kind of a good cop, bad cop. Pulled up, walked up to us. Really nice gentleman, but also one was like a little more stern than the other. Just asked us to exit the vehicle. Anything we have in our pockets, lay on the seats. I exited one side. And the other one, there's an agent for me. Then an agent went over to Rachel and my daughter. That was a little bit alarming because my agent asked me to go have a seat while the other agent was still talking to Isla and Rachel. So I purposely dragged my feet because I just didn't feel comfortable, even though
it's weird because you're the man of the family and you're the protector, and that's kind of your job. So I can see that being a bit weird.
Yeah, so I purposely just kind of dragged my feet until they were done, just because I'm like, I'm not going to go 30, 40 feet away. Not nothing to hide, but at the same time, this is my family.
Right. Yeah, you're responsible for their well-being, and
right. So but he was really. Rachel said my wife said he was really nice. Welcome. Hey, bonjour. Welcome to Canada. Where you guys headed? Where you staying? They asked all the same questions. We answered them or whatever, truthfully and honestly.
They were probably profiling her because she had the taser.
So anyway, so we had to go sit on this concrete bench, and Rachel had to fill out some paperwork about the taser, and one guy was asking me what the value was and this kind of deal. Then they made a mess
of the camp
of the taser. I don't know,
$20,
but it was like more like 60, 70.
Oh.
And he asked me, man, because the one guy I think felt bad for us because he was like, you should be able to get this on your way back. And the other guy's like, they're not getting that back.
So one guy, it was like a Taser coat check
right.
where we'll just hold on to this for you. Here's your ticket.
Right. I get,
and the other guy was like, no, we're destroying it.
I'm wondering
It's
if that's the way it used to be. Like you could claim them and then pick them up on your way back. But not
well, you would
anymore.
have to think that there are probably people in Canada that work in the U.S. that cross that border every day,
Right.
and there are probably people in the U.S. that work in Canada and cross that border every day. So, but at the same time, Border Patrol isn't supposed to be a coat check.
No, right. So he had to.
I'm just gonna leave this rocket launcher here. I'll pick it back up when I come back.
Well, it wasn't a big thing, but I read the paperwork that they had Rachel, and they put the value as $15 about the taser, and I'm like, no, I paid a lot more than $15 for it.
But with the exchange rate,
well, it didn't matter. It would have been more.
Yeah, I guess
so. It wouldn't matter. But anyway, so they searched my truck, didn't put anything back. They just kind of, live PD'd the truck and
they just tossed
everything and whatever, and then. But I guess they're trying to be efficient and hurry themselves up, but then they kind of flow through the camper a little bit.
Now I'm envisioning them going through and just throwing things out of the car.
No,
That's
I don't know.
Not what happened.
No, I think they just kind of like take things out of the like my Rachel's real big on these totes and these bins, right?
Right.
And so we had all of our camping supplies that we had in the truck in these totes, and they would just take one at a time or take things out to move so they could see inside the totes and just drop, just put them to the side.
I take this out of the tote, I put it over here, and then I just leave it there.
They just leave it there. They didn't put it back.
Okay. I'm picturing them like tossing your car,
No.
like they're just throwing out cushions.
No, I didn't take it very long. It took like 10, 15
apart.
minutes. And, we were just, but I really important to me, I kind of use this moment as a learning tool for my daughter, even though she's 5 years old. We just said, because I was like, why are they looking
Is she
at her
freaking
truck?
out at this point?
No, we just told her.
Because you said, hi, you want to see my picture?
Right,
And
no,
now it's
she
something
was-
like, hey, the cops are
Right. No, she was
looking at
really
our
cool.
car.
We just told her, baby, they want to look at our truck. We haven't done anything wrong. They just here to keep.
Mommy brought a deadly weapon into another country.
Right.
We just they need to make sure that we're being safe. Mommy brought a weapon and they can hurt people.
Well, we just would tell her that they want to keep their country safe, and that's what their job is, and they're just making sure that we're safe and that we don't have anything that could hurt them or us. Of course, the whole time I'm thinking, even though I know exactly every single thing in the truck and the camper.
Yeah, you're thinking they're going to go, what is this?
You're right. Your mind can't help but to think, do I have anything that could be illegal? Because I didn't know tasers were illegal. What else is illegal in Canada? That I don't know about.
Kleenexes, whatever it is, right?
Right. You brought your own poutine? What
right. Yeah, you got to buy that poutine here. We tax that. We tax that here. You can't bring your own poutine here.
Like I found out later, like this is, again, since I'm back in America, I'm free from this, but you aren't allowed to take fruits and vegetables in. I didn't know that.
It's either for import tax reasons or it's for parasitic germ reasons.
Right.
Because when we went to Mexico, it was the same thing. You can't bring any kind of nuts with you.
We had a refrigerator full of fruits and vegetables for camping, for a camping trip. We didn't know. They didn't go back. They didn't look in the refrigerator, so they didn't obviously see
There's going to be
it.
some government official in Canada that listens to this show.
I'm in America now.
Well, but they're going to ban you.
Come at me, bro. So.
New Christian podcast attacks Canada.
So I was like, you're gonna get mad at me because I brought a tomato and some mushrooms in, like whatever, and also meat as well.
So, but they checked the camper.
But they didn't they checked the camper, but they didn't. I mean, the camper is hooked up to a truck, and the slide.
But they went inside.
The side outs are in. They probably just went in like a little bit.
But they went inside,
right?
I guess I'm asking. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, they did, but they can't. You can't go very far when it's hooked up because you have the side. The side out is in.
Oh yeah, because you can't move about.
Very about.
Right.
Okay. We finally, after about 15, 20 minutes of that, they let us go, and we finally to our campsite, and it was nice, and real quick on the, I'm glad that I brought my own lunch meat and things in, because their lunch meat department at Walmart was terrible. It was like tiny, they really in Canada love their sausages and their franks. They had hot dogs of every type you can imagine. Chicken and pork and beef and whatever else.
You had to say ham, also known as Canadian bacon.
Yeah, but don't even get me started. When you ask for bacon, they bring you ham.
Well,
I know.
It's called Canadian bacon.
We went to the Hard Rock.
So do you have to say I'd like
American bacon?
I'd like eggs and American bacon, please.
I didn't even see American bacon because all I know is that they love their ham. And
gas is too expensive.
That's right.
You can't have tasers.
Right.
They have fries that sound like Russian presidents.
Right. Right.
They don't have bacon.
Yeah. I know. Well, why would anybody go there?
We're going to invade Canada.
That's why-
They've been sitting up above us for far too long. They're plotting.
I mean,
We're going to get them.
It's just different. I think it's nothing bad about the country. It
It doesn't sound bad.
No,
it sounds
it's just
odd.
It's just different.
Sounds a bit off.
Like, but I'm sure they say the thing about America. Anybody come to a different country? I mean, I know we went to Israel.
Yeah, it's weird, eh? I came down
Yeah.
and asked some bacon. And
Yeah.
they gave me this strip.
Yeah, this is pork swine flesh. What is this? This is
What is this? What is this?
I know. Yeah.
People walk around with tasers just in their pockets.
Yeah,
If you want poutine, you got to make it yourself.
Well,
This is
the funny
the
thing
worst.
is, I whenever I come back from Canada too, and I
Did you get some of the Monopoly money?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I always feel like Scrooge McDuck when I come back from Canada. So, I do because I have a
You just
tendency.
jump in a pool of Canadian
exactly.
nickels.
Well, yes, 'cause I have a tendency when I don't like to use my card as much for the foreseen reasons of the gas situation, the hold, and all that stuff.
Sure.
So I just went. The only place I could exchange my money without hassle or without a fee was the casino. There's a casino right near Canadian Falls, right near Niagara Falls.
Canadian Falls.
The Canadian
You said Canadian Falls.
Excuse me. And you go in, it's like a little ATM. You put in your American money, it pops out, Canadian money. That alone was like I was gambling. I put in $100, I get out 170.
Yeah, you were just hitting, you were winning every time. Right there.
But anyway, so
Well, that's cool because when you have a card and you use the money, it's a lot easier to spend money on your card
right,
because it's not tangible. It's
Right.
just numbers
Right.
in an app or in an account or
Right.
something. You don't actually, it's not there. You're not see it. So there's something cool about having money from somewhere else just because it's
Right.
kind of exotic and
absolutely.
there's kind of that idea
In fact,
of
I
you
have
having
some
some.
with me. I know you can't see this.
You
on
having
the
some
podcast,
Monopoly.
but,
You can tweet a picture of it at the show. Whoa!
Yeah, that's a $10 bill.
So I'm looking at a $10. I guess it's just $1, right? It's not a
That's
franc or anything. It's just a
$10
It's just
Canadian.
$10 Canadian. Whoa, that's like straight Monopoly money right there.
Yeah. But the reason why I feel
what's this is on the money. I'm not just saying this on the show. So this says $10, and then next to it says DIX.
Okay.
So it says Dix $10. Is that Roman numeral? Look at it. It says Dix
yeah.
Dix $10. Is that the person?
It's French.
What does it mean? Oh, that's French for 10.
Yeah, dieu. My French is terrible.
Here I am being a dumb American. Why does it say Dix on it? Why does it say? What? You're getting banned in Canada for sure now. I really didn't realize that it was French. I forgot that they're double language. And of course, now that I'm looking at it more clearly, it says Bank of Canada on one side and Banque du Canada on the other. And so now I can see that it clearly is double language. I thought it might have been the name of the person on the franc, except that is Sir John MacDonald, which is listed here. Yeah, sorry. That was.
That's the highlight of the show right there.
You'll have to tweet a picture of this. People can see what
Right.
what you're talking about because. Oh yeah, even the back it says the Canadian, which is the train, and then it says Le Canadien. Yeah, I'm just dumb. That's what happened there.
Dicks. What?
I thought it said Dick. I thought it said Dick's $10. It's
Dieu.
You can't blame me. There's an X in that word.
No, I know.
The X is,
Anyway,
all right.
This is why I feel like we're Scrooge McDuck, because I have a tendency to not use smaller bills. For some reason, I just go for the largest bill in my wallet.
Deal with the change
use
later.
it. Right. But the problem is they don't have any bills smaller than 5. So you end up with a bunch of loonies and toonies.
What?
Loonies are $1 gold coins.
Okay.
And toonies is what I have in my hand here. It's a $2 coin called a toonie.
Okay, wait. So they don't have. There's no such thing as a $1 bill.
No.
There's the only paper money or
The
whatever
smallest
this is.
amount they have on a paper money is a $5
Is
bill.
5. So what are they? Is it 5, 10, 20,
5, 10,
50,
I
100?
didn't-
Just like,
I only
like here?
saw the biggest I saw was a 20. I'm sure there's a 50 and a 100. But
Okay.
yeah, but the smallest bill
But
they
then
have
it's
is a 5.
So a loony. It's not a oneie
no, it's
or a onesie.
Yeah, it's a loony. In fact, I
It's a
had to get laundry money, and all I had was a 5, and I had to go get some coins for the machines. And I asked the lady, "Can I have this exchange for $1?" And she goes, "Yes, here's a loony." And I was like, or whatever. And she was like, "Oh yeah, they're called loonies. I forgot that."
Is that the
$1.
is that the so Is that the official name? Like,
Yeah,
if I handed you a $10 bill American, I would say, here's $10. But I might also say, here's $10.
You could also say this.
Is it a $1 Canadian coin, but it's nicknamed a loonie? Like a dollar's
think
nicknamed a
it's-
buck? Or is it 100% like a shoot name is a loonie?
I think the name of the coin is a loonie. Like a quarter is 25 cents. Their $1 coin is a loonie.
Is a loonie.
But it doesn't mean you have 10 loonies. If you have a $10 bill, you have a $10 bill. But if you have $1, it's a loonie.
So it's not a dollar coin, it's a loonie.
It's a loonie. Which I felt silly.
I'd be curious to know where that came from.
And a toonie?
Well, toonie, two.
Right.
Two loony,
Maybe it's
toonie. I
French.
get that one.
Right.
Maybe it's French like
like Dieu.
like Dieu. That did not.
But my daughter loved it.
This is never gonna make it to air anyway, so it doesn't matter.
My daughter loved it because here's what happens. I ended up, especially the first time I went to Canada when I was in my 20s. I went up to British Columbia, just kind of backpacked up there for a couple of days. Wonderful, but that was the first time I found out about the whole no less than $5 bill thing, just the loonies and toonies. And that was really before I even had a debit or credit card. So all I had was cash.
Sure.
And my pockets by the time of the trip was over.
Pants fall down.
Was literally
Because you're way down with all these coins.
carrying $1 and $2 coins like crazy.
Now,
Like,
I imagine you can get you could grab two toonies and a loony and go get a $5 note.
Right.
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 No. Yeah,
Now, if full disclosure, I probably shouldn't say this because
there's no way this is making an air anyway.
No, this is a really fun podcast. I probably will air it, but I've always wanted to know. All right, not that I would do this, but in my mind,
I know exactly. Can I guess what you're going to say before you say it? Can I try to guess? Because I'm thinking the same thing you might be thinking.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about what would happen if you went to a gentleman's establishment?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was
What
going
do
to
you
say.
do? Do you throw loonies and toonies at the entertainment? I mean, as in America, you make it rain with the dollar bills. Do you just sit there and chuck change?
It would
at
be
them?
very violent if you tried to make it rain with loonies. You just throw them up.
They're-
Bing, 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 bing,
right,
bing,
they're
bing.
heavy. I mean, it's like they're heavy coins.
Maybe it's like a Sonic Drive-In type deal where they got the little gimmick thing on their way. They got the little change thing, and you put the loonies in the thing, and then at the end of the night they can just fink, 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 fink them out of the little holster.
Yeah. So I don't know.
If you're in Canada and go to strip clubs,
Yeah.
make sure you follow us. This is Live Pod on Twitter. Let us know how this works.
Yeah,
You're
and
never airing this. There's no way you're
And then
airing
you
this.
can come and we can talk about your repentance afterwards,
There
right?
you go. There you go.
But it's like not that I would do that, but I've always wanted to know that.
Maybe they're just
I've
really,
always been
really
afraid to
high
even
class,
Google it.
and it's always fives.
My guess is I
or nothing.
about this had 20 hours of drive time on the way back. I'm wondering, I bet what they do is you probably get like whatever you get dancer bucks or something, where you go and you put money in and then they give you,
so you get
Monopoly
more
money.
fake money than this purple see-through stuff that I'm holding in my hand.
Right.
Okay. I will say this: the artwork on here is really nice.
It is impressive. It's really.
Did you bring back any of the Spock bills?
No, not this time around.
No, they're not. But they're not real. It's not really Spock though, right? It's like some dude.
No, it's a dude, and they changed it eventually. Like the other ones,
Because it was a Canadian prime minister or somebody
Right.
important in Canada or formerly important in Canada.
Right.
And then some artist drew the ears or
they just defaced the
he
bill to make him look
Spockified
like
him.
Spock, right?
Okay.
And they changed it to where he doesn't look as much like Spock, but naturally. But I mean, you look at the bill and you can definitely tell he can still do that.
I wonder how long it would take to get Spock on a $5 bill for real.
I
I know Leonard Nimoy was not Canadian, so
No,
it doesn't.
well,
that might be a bit of a challenge in itself, but
This is true.
yeah.
This is true. I was any of the other fun things I mentioned. Okay, well, so
Wait. I know the answer to this, but tell the listeners why you even went to Canada in the first place.
now you
Because
wanna
I
talk about
know, and I haven't heard the payoff for that. So that's a
Okay.
great ending if you just let everybody know why you came, and then let them also know what the result is. Because
Okay.
I don't know the result. I don't know
Okay.
the end of the story.
So about a year and a half ago. All right. Well, as you can tell, Matt and I had a really, really good time just discussing and talking about my recent trip to Canada. It's always fun just getting your Matt in a room and we can just go back and forth and talk about it. And anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed it lots as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Make sure you subscribe so you can catch the next chapter, which will be episode 8, I believe. This is episode 7. So episode 8 will be the continuation of our Canada and Vinyl Tiles episodes. So God bless you guys. Aloha and mahalo. Until next time.
Poutine. Tim.